Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 76 years of independence, India's G20 presidency, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015 to 2030, as part of awareness and campaigns in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today, we are commemorating Know Your Numbers Week in UK. It is a big campaign that occurs annually during the second week in September. This year, the day is being celebrated from September 4th to 10th all over the world. There are millions of people who have high blood pressure and are unaware. In the UK, the campaign was created to raise awareness about the high blood pressure and is now the UK's biggest blood pressure testing and awareness event. Every year, volunteers set up pressure stations in public spaces and places across the UK to test the passers by measuring their blood pressure and giving them their numbers to prevent heart attacks and strokes. So the first Know Your Numbers Week took place in 2007 and had the theme Finding the Missing Millions. It is estimated that 16 million people in the UK have high blood pressure, but 5.3 million of them don't know it. To address this, 2,700 pressure stations were set up across the country to take pressure readings, resulting in 250,000 people being tested. The momentum of the campaign began to grow, and 2009 saw a rise in media coverage for Know Your Numbers Week. It featured on GMTV, radio shows including BBC Radio, To Drive Time, and national newspapers from Daily Express and the Daily Star, and so on. The campaign focused on the busiest areas in the UK, which include train stations, shopping centers, and workplaces. The mission for 2012 was to know your numbers and the numbers of your partner. The campaign encouraged couples to get tested and know each other's numbers. So with the rise of social media in 2017, the Know Your Numbers campaign began trending online and continued to do so yearly with the hashtag Know Your Numbers. The posters reached over 21,000 people on Twitter and were among the most successful campaigns on the social media site. In 2019, the Know Your Numbers campaign Live Well for Longer reached 528,000 people online and was featured on Arsenal Football Club's website. In 2020, the campaign went viral and encouraged people to buy or borrow a home blood pressure monitor. Additionally, the campaign created and distributed a collection of home monitoring resources. These included a guide to checking your blood pressure at home, a home monitoring record card to track blood pressure numbers, and a video explaining how to measure blood pressure and what the numbers mean. The Know Your Numbers campaign receives Healthcare and Medical Research Award at the Charity Awards event in 2008. The Know Your Numbers Week breaks the world record for the most BP tests in 8 hours in 2010. Public Health England comes on board and creates I Know My Number boards in 2016. And Know Your Numbers Week trends on Twitter 3 years in a row with 5 lakh website views in 2019. Know Your Numbers Week has been around for 21 years in 2021. So Know Your Numbers is a campaign that encourages people to learn their numbers related to cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight, body mass index, your cholesterol and triglyceride levels, your blood pressure and other numbers are key markers of your health. So keep these numbers at their normal levels to maintain a healthy lifestyle. The caffeine in coffee may cause an increase in your blood pressure, even if you don't have high blood pressure. So there is no other way to do this other than to get tested. So go on, find your local pressure station and know your numbers. Membership fees go towards the campaign and support their work. So what better way to contribute to this worthwhile cause? Join the charity organization Blood Pressure, the UK. Register online a run pressure station. To run a pressure station in your local community, you can get support from your local medics. When high blood pressure goes untreated, it can cause a heart attack or a stroke. It often has 0 symptoms. High blood pressure and diseases it causes are manageable by medicine and lifestyle changes. It is easily treatable and managed. After smoking and poor diet, high blood pressure is the third high risk factor for all diseases. It is the third health risk factor. In an England study, 31% of men were found to have high blood pressure as compared to just 26% of women. In England, there are more than 5 million people who are unaware of their blood pressure status. Many people remain undiagnosed. And Know Your Numbers Week makes getting your blood pressure checked an easy task. Let's not ignore the life-changing rewards. From advertising and resources to coverage, the organization provides you with the tools you need to run your pressure station. It is a great way to give back to your community. And it is simple to do your part and get involved. You have many avenues to take and to be part of the change. You could share a tweet, host a pressure station, fundraise, put up posters, make a donation, or become a member of the Blood Pressure, the UK group. So, how to lower your blood pressure? Your diet, exercise levels, and weight have a real effect on your blood pressure. If you have high blood pressure, you can start lowering blood pressure today by eating more healthily and being more active. Exercise, physical activity, and your blood pressure. A lack of physical activity is linked to high blood pressure, and being more active will lower your blood pressure. Whether you have high blood pressure or want to prevent it, it's never too late to start. There's a lot of help available, and you don't have to go to gym. Being active lowers your blood pressure by keeping your heart and blood vessels in good shape, lowering your risk of heart disease and stroke. If you have high blood pressure, your doctor or nurse will probably suggest that you try to become more active to lower it. It has countless other benefits too. Exercise strengthens the bones and improves balance. It keeps your muscles and joints moving, can help keep you active and independent in later life. It can give you more energy and lift your mood and even improve your cognitive function. For most people, the answer is yes, as it is safe to exercise, even if you have a blood pressure. But if you have high blood pressure, then you should be able to do more active quite safely. But to be on the safe side, it's always a good idea to speak to your doctor or nurse before you start any new physical activity. Physical activity will cause your blood pressure to rise for a short time. For most people, this is nothing to worry about. When you stop the activity, it should quickly return to normal. If your blood pressure is relatively high, your doctor or nurse may prefer to lower it with medicines before you start exercising. If it's very high, avoid any new activity without talking to your doctor first. Use the resources available offline and online and see whether it's safe to exercise or not. Always speak to your doctor or nurse about what's safe for you. If the blood pressure level is below 90 by 60 mmHg, you may have low blood pressure. Speak to your doctor or nurse before starting any new exercise. If it is in between 90 by 60 mmHg to 140 by 90 mmHg, it is safe to be more active, and it will help you to keep your blood pressure in healthy range. If it is in between 140 by 90 mmHg to 179 by 99 mmHg, this is high blood pressure, but it should be safe to be more active to help lower it. If it is in between 180 by 100 mmHg to 199 by 109 mmHg, this is a very high reading. Speak to your doctor or nurse before starting any new exercise. If it is 200 by 110 mmHg or above, don't start any new activity. Visit your doctor or nurse as soon as possible. So different kinds of exercises and activity have different effects on your body. If you have high blood pressure, focus on aerobic activities. These will help your heart and blood vessels most, but avoid activities which put too much strain on your heart. Aerobic exercises are repetitive, rhythmic movements which get your heart, lungs, blood vessels, and muscles working. They use large muscle groups of your body, such as those in your legs, shoulders, arms. Walking, jogging, swimming, dancing, and heavy gardening, such as digging, are all aerobic activities. Some other forms of activities are less helpful and are to be avoided. For example, any exercise that is very intensive for short periods of time, such as sprinting or weightlifting, they raise your blood pressure very quickly and put too much strain on your heart and blood vessels. Some extreme sports, such as scuba diving or parachuting, can be dangerous if your blood pressure is not under control. You will need a medical certificate from your doctor to start or continue doing it. So activities that are good for your blood pressure, for lowering blood pressure: cycling, brisk walking, swimming, dancing, gardening, tennis, jogging. Activities to be avoided: like weightlifting, squash, skydiving, sprinting, scuba diving. So talk to your doctor or nurse before starting any of this. The government recommends every adult should be moderately active for 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. Moderate activity is something that makes you feel warmer and makes you breathe harder, but you should be able to talk without panting between the words. Some people find it difficult to find the time to be active, or you may find it hard to keep active for 30 minutes in one go. Keep moving, stick with it, and remember, even a little can make a difference. Just do what you can and use tips to get started. Always start small. Set your small goals and that add up. To get started, split your 30 minutes into two 15-minute or three 10-minute sessions. This will help you build up your strength and get used to new activity. Build up to full 30 minutes over a few weeks. Find a training buddy. If you find the idea of being active boring, get other people involved, ask your family or friends or even a colleague. Exercise can be a lot more fun with other people. Find an activity that you enjoy. The main thing is to enjoy what you are doing. If exercise feels like punishment, you are more likely to give up. If you find something you like doing, you'll soon see the benefits and you are more likely to keep going. Set goals which aren't about your body. Working towards a goal that means something to you keep you interested in what you are doing, or getting your filter in the process. For example, running a mile or entering a competition. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it keeps you motivated. There are endless possibilities for getting active with classes in martial arts, dance, yoga, and pilates, as well as more mainstream sports available in the sports centers, town halls, and leisure centers. Your doctor or nurse might also know what's available nearby, such as leisure centers, walking paths, and exercise schemes. Exercising doesn't have to cost money or involve expensive gym fees. There's a lot of free exercise apps, online videos. You can work out in your garden or the park, or look for a free local groups or classes in your area. Use the ideas to get started. Have a look at the page 13 of the Summer's 2017 Positive Pressure magazine. For simple exercises you can do at home, or you can look for other various sources. Couch to 5K is a plan to help absolute beginners to gradually build up running 5 kilometers. Take up 10,000 steps challenge, where you aim to walk at least 10,000 steps every day. Ramblers and Walking for Health both organize free walks all over the country every week, or find your nearest walking group. The NHS 1U has a lot of ideas for being active. Building activity into your day. If the idea of doing exercise isn't for you, being more active in your day-to-day life can make a difference too. Our lives are much less active than they used to be. More of us have desk jobs. We can use cars and public transport to get around, and we have lots of labor-saving devices in our homes. These simple steps will help you to be more active, more each day, and don't use the car for short journeys. Take stairs instead of a lift or escalator. Get off the bus one stop earlier. If possible, cycle or walk to work. So certain simple steps can help you to be more active, like walk more each day. And don't use the car for short journeys. Take the stairs instead of lift or escalator. Get off the bus one stop earlier. If possible, cycle or walk to work. Take the dog out on longer walks. Take a walk during your lunch hour. Think about activities you enjoyed before and see if you can take part in them at a local center. If you have mobility problems or find any difficult to get out and about, then chair-based exercises can be a great way to be active. Classes are available around the country and can be cheap or even free. These exercises avoid putting unwanted strain on the hips, legs, or arms, making them ideal for people with arthritis or osteoporosis, or who have had back, knee, or hip surgery, because they gently build up your fitness. They are suitable, and if you are starting from the very beginning. The exercises are a series of stretches, movements, and activities that raise your heart rate and make your arm leg muscles stronger and more flexible. This may help you to become more mobile and steady on your feet and can improve your posture over time. They may lower your blood pressure and help you to lose weight or keep it to a healthy weight. The classes tend to last for 1 hour. They normally start with 10 minutes of warm-up, followed by 40 minutes of activities and a 10-minute warm-down of rhythmic events. The chairs are often arranged in a circle with your instructor in the middle. You will start a range of stretches in your chair to improve flexibility of your shoulders and joints and go gently raise your heart rate. Later in the class, you may be asked to use a larger elastic band. This adds resistance and helps you to build up strength in your leg and arm muscles. You may be asked to lift yourself out of chair. Some classes may also ask you to stand for a short time. Music is usually played in the background to set the mood, but it is not aerobic class. You will not normally be asked to move in time with it. To keep the activities varied and interesting, you may be asked to use some equipment, such as wobbly balls, which you roll under feet, and a beanbag that you pass from hand to hand, or even a parachute. So you can find a local chair-based class online or asking your GP. There are also online videos that you could follow from. So what you eat makes a huge difference to your blood pressure and your overall health. There's a lot of information available, but it can sometimes be confusing. Too much salt can raise your blood pressure, but how do you know if you are eating too much? Eating your 5 a day of fruit and vegetable can lower it. But how you can find that in every day? Take a look at the foods and nutrients that affect your blood pressure. And how to lower your blood pressure naturally with a few simple changes to your diet. Eating well can be easier, cheaper, and more fun than you think. Salt raises your blood pressure, but it's hard to know how much you are eating because it's hidden in the foods we buy. How much fat you eat and the type of fat is important for your heart health. Too much saturated fat can raise your blood cholesterol and clog up your arteries. Food and drinks high in sugar can make you put on weight, raising your blood pressure. Find out how to eat less. Your weight and your blood pressure is related. Being a healthy weight is one of the most important things you can do for your blood pressure. Losing weight doesn't need to feel like a struggle, or even in losing a small amount like 5 or 10% of your body weight. You can make a huge, big difference. If you are overweight, losing weight will lower your blood pressure because the heart doesn't have to work so hard to pump the blood around your body. It lowers your risk of many other health problems, including stroke, diabetes, and heart disease, and can make you feel better too, giving you more energy to do things you want to do. Your doctor or nurse will be able to talk to you about whether you are healthy weight or not and give you ideas to get it under control. The BMI and your BMI and your waist circumference are both good measures of whether you are healthy weight, and you can check these for yourself. Your BMI is a measure of overweight and obesity. It also tells you your healthy weight for your height. This week is also commemorated as Migraine Awareness Week in UK. Every year, UK observes Migraine Awareness Week in the first week of September, and this year it will be 80%. Apart from inheriting the condition, some people can also get migraines through specific triggers. Interestingly, one can develop migraine at any stage in their life. Even though migraines are common headache disorder, they remain poorly understood and neglected. And many people go entire lives without proper diagnosis and treatment. Migraines are a chronic neurological disorder that affects over 1 billion people across the world. Migraine symptoms include long-lasting headaches characterized by severe throbbing or pulsating pain on one side of the head. The headache is often While migraines don't have a definite cause, certain factors can trigger the condition. These triggers include stress, irregular sleep schedules, the condition significantly impacts the individual's personal, professional, and social life. Migraines come without a warning and can be crippling. This is the main reason for an urgent need to diagnose and treat migraines correctly. It also helps patients to identify their migraine triggers and to avoid these triggers as best as they can. There is also need for more effective personalized migraine treatment. Medical practitioners should also take into account the patient's comorbidities, frequency and severity of attacks, and more. As you can see, patients and healthcare workers need to be more vigilant of migraine attacks and their treatments. Migraines likely start when there are overactive nerve cells sends out signals that trigger your trigeminal nerve, which gives sensation to your head and face. Migraines can be debilitating, but some for people, there is an increased risk hot packs and heating pads can relax tense muscles. Warm showers or baths may have similar effect. Drink a caffeinated beverage in small amounts. Caffeine also can relieve migraine pain in early stages. If you are suffering from severe and regular headaches that seem to be triggered by certain situations, consider getting yourself screened for migraines during Migraine Awareness Week. If you have indeed been diagnosed with migraines, spend some time during Migraine Awareness Week trying to identify triggers that bring on a migraine attack. Once you have identified these triggers, you can avoid them too. If you or someone you know often suffers from migraine attacks, then you are already aware of how the condition affects the quality of life. Spend Migraine Awareness Week by raising awareness about the diagnosis and treatment of the condition. 1 in 4 people in the US suffer from migraines. It is a very common condition. Women are 18% more likely than men to suffer from the migraines, and it mostly affects women. Young boys are more likely to suffer from migraines than girls. Children can have migraines too. Patients with migraine are also likely to suffer from depression and anxiety. They can trigger other mental ailments. Some may get migraine attacks daily. These are called chronic migraines. Migraine Awareness Week raises awareness of this condition that affects more than 1 billion people in the world. The more people know about migraines, the easier it is to demand better treatments. The aim of Migraine Awareness Week is also to find personalized and dedicated treatment for every patient. The observations are fully dedicated to making every patient's life better. The incredible progress that the medical science has made in the last few years in the diagnosis and treatment of migraine celebrates the contribution of medical science. Today is also commemorated as Labor Day in US, as summer finals fling has arrived in the form of Labor Day, which triggers mixed emotions. While summer still has 21 calendar days left, it's time to get serious. Schools starting, and there's a sense that summer vacation is over. Labor Day always falls on the first Monday in September, which means anywhere from September 1st through September 7th. This year it is September 4th in the US and Canada. However, this is not the case for most countries, the majority of which celebrate on May 1st. There's a disagreement over how the holiday or the commemoration began. One version is set in September 1882 with the Knights of Labor, the largest, one of the most important American labor organizations at that time. The Knights in the New York City held a public parade featuring various labor organizations on September 5th with the aid of fledgling Central Labor Union, CLU of New York. Subsequently, CLU Secretary Matthew McGuire proposed that a National Labor Day holiday be held on the first Monday of each September to mark the successful public demonstration. And another version is Labor Day in September was proposed by Peter J. McGuire, a vice president of the American Federation of the Labor. In spring 1882, McGuire reportedly proposed a general holiday for the laboring class to the CLU, which would begin with the street parade of organized labor solidarity and end with the picnic fundraiser for local unions. McGuire suggested the first Monday in the September as an ideal date for Labor Day because the weather is great at that time of the year and it falls between July 4th and Thanksgiving. Oregon became the first US state to mark it an official public holiday, and 29 other states have joined at the time of the federal government declared it a federal holiday in 1984. Today is also commemorated as Mouth Guard Day in US. It is celebrated annually on the first Monday of September. If you love sports and do it, you probably at least know what mouth guards are, also known as gum shields, or even wear them yourself. Although the main purpose of mouth guards is to protect those who do active sports from knocking their teeth out of their mouths. There are other reasons why caps are worn. On Mouth Guard Day, we celebrate these wonderful inventions and beautiful smiles they have served and protected for many years. Undoubtedly, protective sports equipment did not always exist. Helmets, shin pads, backpacks, and gum shields have evolved as the nature of the sport. However, nowadays, mouth guard is vital as an element protecting sports equipment, which helps prevent damage to the mouth and jaw. The mouth guard gained popularity in US in 1950 and 1960. Throughout the years, the design and production of the mouth guards have improved significantly. The first mouth guards were developed in 1890 by a London dentist, Wolf Krause. It was named a gum shield and made of material called gutta percha. It was specifically designed to worn by boxers to prevent cracking of the lips, which was a common injury in sports at that time. Philip Krause, his son, was also a dentist and was an amateur boxer, perfected his father's design and began making a mouth guard out of Vela rubber. By 1927, gum shields had become common among American boxers. A few years later, in 1947, Rodney O. Lilliquist, a dentist from Los Angeles, used clear acrylic resin to create the first acrylic splint, and the capa was shaped to fit the upper jaw and lower teeth, making it much more less visible and more comfortable to wear. Mouthguard Day, founded by OPRO in 2018, is celebrated on the first Monday in September to coincide with the start of the school year and the start of the new season. OPRO was founded by dentist Dr. Anthony Lovat, who became a witness to children losing their teeth while playing sports due to outfitting or a complete lack of protection. Almost 96% of the enamel is minerals, and it's harder than bone, but don't test it on bottle caps. It can damage by metal or glass. The cap should stand apart from the toothbrush, otherwise it can lead to accumulation of bacteria and their separation in a moist environment. The first toothpaste was introduced in 1908, 30 years earlier than the toothbrush. The Romans used impressive dental technology for their time using mouth guards. In fact, an American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry study found that 57% of the people say that a smile from a stranger makes them want to smile and can improve their day. So smile is the first physical trait noticed. It reminds us that we need to take care of our health, of our teeth. Wear your mouth guards if it is needed. The first mouth guard was invented in 1890, and Mouth Guard Day celebrates the popularity that these capas have gained through the decades. If you were afraid or unsure that you needed a mouth guard, that is a great day to dispel all doubts and fears, and your dentist will help you in this matter. Today is also commemorated as National Macadamia Nut Day in US. It is an Australia's underrated gem. Macadamia nuts, the country is mostly known for its wildlife and beautiful landscape, but it's also home for the glorious macadamia nut. These macadamia trees are native to Australia and are classified as a tree type that consists of 4 species, each able to produce edible nuts. For this reason, the tree is not grown in different regions of the world. The macadamia nut is also known as Queensland's nut, the Marochi nut, and the Maple nut. Rare as they are, macadamia nuts are highly sought after in culinary world. When it comes to desirability, the most popular name on the list is the white chocolate macadamia nut cookie, which is without a doubt one of the finest cookies created after the chocolate chip cookie. Macadamia nut trees were first discovered by native Aborigines in the rainforest of Australia some 1,000 years ago. By textbook date, the nut was introduced in Europe by Alan Cunningham in 1828. Although at that time it has no name, it would take another 29 years for the Australian nut to be named after Scottish-Australian chemist John Macadam. In 1882, macadamia trees were planted in Hawaii to shield sugarcane from the wind, but trees weren't fully cultivated until 1888. The nuts from the trees were an instant hit among the locals, leading to establishment of the nut industry. If you are looking for something more, macadamia nuts can be used in several ways. They can be roasted, used for making butter, nut milk, cream oil, nut flour, and covered in chocolate for a sweet kick. Farmers in Australia work extremely hard to cultivate macadamia. So learn more about the process and harvesting to manufacturing. A single macadamia tree produces nuts for over 100 years. Macadamia nuts are toxic to dogs, so no macadamia nuts for dogs. The nut is rich in carbohydrates and proteins and has a high iron, potassium, and calcium content and are nutritious. Macadamia nut oil is also found in cosmetics and other skincare products because of its oxidative stability. The monosaturated fats found in macadamia nuts boost the metabolism and reduce the risk of heart disease. There is no diet that is not compatible with the nuts, whether it is a vegan diet, low carb diet, or keto, will always benefit from the handful of nuts. Australian macadamia growers are proud of their native crop and work hard to produce it. We love and applaud their efforts. Other than being tasty snacks on their own, macadamia nuts have become the cherry at the top of many savory and sweet dishes. Today is also commemorated as National Wildlife Day in US. America marks National Wildlife Day on September 4th, as it is an opportunity for everyone to step back, take a deep breath, and think about all that surrounds us. It is inspiring to consider preservation and conservation efforts that work to improve the natural world. These remains so much to learn. As Henry David Thoreau once wrote, in wildness is the preservation of the world. We couldn't agree more, so let's the amount of water on Earth remains constant and is continually recycled over time. Scientists estimate that there are 3 trillion trees on Earth, way more trees. In fact, they are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. Contrary to popular myth and opinion, bats are not blind and sometimes use their eyesight to hunt rather than using echolocation. Experts estimate that about 200 species of planets and animals become extinct every 24 hours, more than 1,000 times the natural rate of extinction. Today is also commemorated as Umhlanga Reed Dance Day in Eswatini. This Umhlanga Reed Dance Day marks the end of Umhlanga festival and is celebrated in last week of August and the first week of September. The timing of the event is based on ancient astrology and decided by the leaders of the community. Every year, more than 25,000 Zulu maidens from all provinces of Eswatini gather at the royal palace to participate in the reed dance, which was evolved from a centuries-long Swazi tradition to a modern-day celebration that brings the country together and is the center of greater economic activity. The annual Umhlanga Reed Dance marks the biggest cultural gathering of the Swazi people. Coming after an 8-day ceremony, unmarried girls gather in centipede-like structure and dance with reeds. The festival begins in late August or early September and aims to strengthen bonds of the community amongst a new generation of homemakers. A captain locally known as Zinjuna is appointed by the royal family to announce the organizers of the ceremony. The use of the reed as the official mascot is a nod to the historical relevance. Today is also commemorated as West Indian Day Parade in US. West Indian culture is colorful and multifaceted. It is good to know, not just for educational purposes, about what we mean by West Indian, but also in order to understand the celebration known as the West Indian Day Parade, which takes place each Labor Day in Brooklyn in 2021. That means it started on September. Today is also commemorated as Eat an Extra Dessert Day in US. For many, Dessert Day is a much anticipated highlight, and a meal without some kind of watering final seems incomplete. Some items are typically on the dessert menu. Cakes, pies, cookies, and ice cream are customarily served at the end of a meal. So, but if you plan on having sweet food any time of the day, then anything will sweet. The term dessert stems from the French word desservir, meaning to clear the table. After the main meal, the table is cleared off to use dishes and dessert, then it is served. Today, recipe development has reached new heights, and there is a variety of interesting ingredients available. Visual presentation and colorful garnishing has become a popular pet and important factors in raising, baking, and dessert making into a culinary art form. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations. Thank you everyone for joining us. See you all tomorrow. Take care. Good night. Before leaving, we request everyone to quickly fill up the overall feedback form